Matthew Tyler from Centerville and Zach Thompson from L&T Auto Repair. Will you both please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Tyler, this is a claim for $6,500, which is the statutory limit. You claim that L&T Auto did $10,000 worth of damage to your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
I didn't. Why don't you just type it in? Mr. Zach Thompson, what is your position at L&T Auto Repair?
Owner.
All right. How come there's no Z in there then?
I'm unsure why it says Joshua Thompson. He has never been an owner, registered agent for L&T Auto Repair.
Okay. Well, he's suing L&T Auto Repair LLC. All right. Now, Mr. Tyler, I had trouble, frankly, sorting this out. You claim that they owe $10,000. There's several invoices here, but they didn't add up to this. Now, this is a Ford F-150 pickup.
Yes, sir.
2013.
Yes, sir.
Is that even worth $10,000?
It's a Ford Rounder. It's about $50,000 truck. To be honest with you, you look them up. I had just bought the truck and I was doing a bunch of upgrades to it. I gave $45,000 for it, and I was having L&T was going to do a bunch of work for me. And in the process, they broke a bolt off in my engine, and I submitted pictures for it, and the thermostat. So they kept saying they couldn't get that bolt out. They couldn't get that bolt out. They drilled on it for like a year, they said, and they wouldn't give me my truck back. They kept giving me a loaner. The loaner kept breaking down. So I went through 2 loaners, probably 6 different times. They had to come and tow them back because they just kept breaking down. The brakes.
All right, well, we're going to have to break this into smaller parcels here.
Yes, sir.
Also, do you have anybody else here from South Park Ford or anybody else that can testify?
I didn't know that I had to have them here. They gave me all the paperwork that shows that.
You don't necessarily, but the burden of proof is on you. And
right.
Are you a mechanic?
I am not. I am not. CJ Auto Park Ford and his mechanics wrote notes in all the work they did to this truck for fixing it when it left L&T and went to the Ford dealership in Sturgis.
All right. When did you first take it to L&T?
I honestly cannot tell you the date.
What year?
20. The end of 21, I believe.
Well, I have a request date dated 11/16 of 21. No, wait a minute, that's a South Park. 3/27 of 21. You went to L&T Auto Repair for a engine oil pump remove and replace, yes, thermostat and gasket, ignition oil. You had 15 $113.05 worth of work done on March 27th. On
Yes,
March 9th, March 29th, I guess, you had spark plugs, $1,300 worth of work. And that's it. So
yeah.
what did you employ L&T Auto Repair to do?
Okay, so this truck, it's a special truck and it has a supercharger on it. So this truck, it has a just a regular oil pump on it, and that's a weak point for these trucks. It's a known weak point for the 6.2 liter V8 Ford engine. So I took it to L&T to have them put a billet oil pump in there, so I wouldn't have any problems with it. So I could go out and have fun with my truck and use it for what it's used, what it's used for. And then I was having them do new shocks, new spark plugs, lights, front and rear lights, like backup lights. They're for this particular truck, a rear brake light was $1,500. They were installing that for me. They were installing the fog lights for me, and all the suspension, which was about $6,000 with the suspension.
All right, well, how do we get from that to where you believe they owe you $10,000?
Okay, so I went to L&T finally to get my truck back, and finally to get it back, I had to call the police to get it back. So I got my truck back, and as soon as I
All
left
right,
their
so
shop,
slow down.
okay, all right.
When did you get it back?
It was a year. They had it a full year. It would have been the day before it went to Ford. When I took it to Ford the very next day, everything.
Well, the Ford stuff is dated January 13th, final, and open date 11/16 of 21.
So L&T had my truck for 13 months.
If I may, Your Honor, he is right. It was there for an extended period of time. These invoices, since they were paid, they were closed out. I could not provide. If I looked back through our records, I could provide an exact pickup date for it, but I just currently do not have that in front of me. But it was there about a year.
All right, so it's there 13 months, so that's a drag. You can't use your truck through all 4 seasons. So you had to call the police to get it?
So what I did is I went in there, and they wanted to give me my truck back, but they wanted me to bring it back the next day because they didn't install the body protectors on the bottom of the truck. They're called skid plates. So they didn't finish installing those, and there's a couple other things they wanted to finish up, tidying up. I'm like, no. I was like, I don't want you guys touch this truck no more. And they're like, well, and the bill was paid. I 100% paid them. I didn't owe them any money. So
All right, just a minute. How much did you pay them?
I think about 4,000.
All right, well, this isn't where we're just sitting around the kitchen table. This is a lawsuit, so you got to establish the total that you paid.
Well, I submitted all the paperwork to the court. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but you're the plaintiff. I'm not supposed to figure it out, but I often do. I got one bill for $1,513.05. I got another bill for $1,340.09. And then I have something from Livernois Motorsports for $774.50.
Yeah, that was for the the thermostat they installed. They broke it. they broke my Livernore's thermostat when they're installing. So they broke that, and then so to put the oil pump and that in, put the oil pump and the thermostat in, they pretty much had to take the whole top of the engine off. They did take the whole top of the engine off. They broke a bolt inside the engine, is what caused all this. They never could get that bolt out, so they took this glue, this orange silicone glue, and glued the engine back together. And that's what Ford's trying to say, you know. And they gave, you know, they gave you supporting pictures, and they're saying that all this damage, this is Ford, notes that the damage was caused due to the work that L&T did on my truck.
Now, I might be missing something, but I don't think I have any pictures. I don't think I have any pictures.
I have pictures.
Just a minute.
I thought everything got submitted.
Maybe in here and I'm not seeing them.
Yeah. So Ford took
Just a
pictures.
minute. I don't have any pictures. All right. No, I don't. I don't know who is they who submitted pictures.
So me and my wife are who submitted them, but we didn't take them. Ford took them because Ford noticed all the problems that they were having when they started digging into this engine. So Ford started
When you say
pictures.
when you say Ford, you're talking about Auto Park Ford in Sturgis?
Yes, sir. So there was CJ, which is the head of service, which L&T even called and talked to him. And then there's their master technician that did all the work, and they were both taking pictures, CJ and the master tech. I don't know his name, but I do know that he did put notes. There's notes at the bottom of the Ford bill, and it tells you what was wrong and why it happened. You know, what caused it. You know, like I can't believe the pictures are not there.
Well, you're the plaintiff, and so
Yes,
you
sir.
have the burden of proof.
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of invoices from Auto Park Ford.
Yes, sir.
That are hard to determine. How much did you pay Auto Park Ford?
About $18,000 total, but they did other work too. I had other stuff done. Everything wasn't L&T's fault.
Can we provide the invoice for the 18,000? I'm showing just.
Well, I don't
motor.
see them. Now, Mr. Tyler, this isn't as easy as you thought it was. You're in your car. You don't have any documentary evidence. You don't have any of the receipts in front of you. You're just shooting from the hip, trying to go off the top of your head. And this is a lawsuit, and you're the plaintiff, and you have the burden of proving it. There's no pictures, and I have to try to figure out what's what from looking at the invoices that you don't have in front of you. So I'm not that smart. I have 3 invoices from South Park Ford that are part of this complaint.
I didn't submit the ones that didn't have anything to do with what L&T, you know.
Right. Well, the ones that you have don't add up to $10,000. Mr. Thompson, you have them in front of you?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's go to the first one.
Okay.
Diagnosis number 1.
Yep.
Vehicle has no oil, believes the drain plug may be loose. Please advise. There's no dollar amount attached to that.
And the reason behind that, sir, is because that was under his service contract, with probably with Ford. It was either aftermarket or it was still on the truck. I'm unaware. To have a better idea for that. But that's something that Ford covered on behalf of him.
So there was no charge to him for that.
No, sir.
Ford,
Right.
I have aftermarket. I have aftermarket warranty that I paid $3,000 for. They paid $1,100, and L&T knows that.
All right,
I'm not.
let's go to the
I'm not-
next thing. All right, at number 2, install new rear leaf springs. 674.78. Did you have anything to do with the leaf springs on this truck, Mr. Thompson?
No, sir. They were dropped off to us. We never performed the work.
Install front shocks and springs.
No, sir.
You didn't do that either?
No, sir.
All right, then, number 4, install brake light. Install fog lamps, number 5. Replace a fuse, number 6.
Yes, sir. That was
Number 7, new thermostat, new oil pump.
yes, sir.
Install front and rear facing camera.
No, sir.
Remove and replace valve cover gaskets that was covered under service contract. Then we have remove and replace camshaft timing solenoids. Did you do any of that work?
Yes, sir.
And then 11, remove and replace idler pulley. Then the variable 900. So he has what I see here as a bill from Auto Park Ford for $3,298.
Yes, sir. And when I went through and tallied up what, I think would fall on us, I came up with a total of $1,150.16 for the things that we named off.
I agree with around $3,000. I don't know why some of those bills are on there. He is right on the camera. They did not install the camera. They did not install the shocks. They did not install the leaf springs. I didn't know that. They did not do those. He's absolutely right about that. But the
This is a
camshaft,
long way from $10,000. Well, let's hear from you, Mr. Thompson. So you believe you could be responsible for $1,150.15. What happened? I mean, obviously you don't want to take somebody's vehicle and keep it for a year and a month. And what happened?
To keep the long story short, we had a mechanic and service manager that thought they could take on a little more than they could. And it was always a different story. I'm not actively involved at the shop every day, so it's hard for me to be down there every single day to get an update. So I'm going off their word, right? With that being said, they were feeding me this, feeding me that, saying, it's going to be done this day. And then I get down there, the next week, it's still not done. And it's always something else. And it was truly just them not getting it done. Whatever the reason is for that, whether it's, them just simply not doing it, them not knowing how to do it, them scared to work on it, I can't tell you. None of those employees are still employed with us, and they haven't been for, the service manager's been gone about 6 months now, and that technician has been gone for over a year, for multiple reasons like this. And, we tried to, sit down with Mr. Tyler and his wife one day, and it turned into a whole fiasco. It was we met at the Wendy's on 131 there, right in front of the Tractor Supply, where Mr. Tyler started throwing insults and attempting to fight us in a parking lot. And we were trying to resolve the issue. It didn't work out that way, unfortunately. We try to make every customer as happy as we possibly can, but at certain points, there's not much you want to do for a customer when they're acting like that. I get why he was upset. I truly do, but there was different ways to handle it. And I truly apologize. That $1,150.16, I'd be more than happy to take care of. I'd be even happy to throw in an additional $349.84 just to bring it to an even total of $1,500. Just add a little bit extra on there for them. But that's pretty much what the issue was on that, sir.
All right. Mr. Tyler, anything else you wish to add?
I do. I've lost my whole engine over this thing. The camshaft and all that. The oil, they didn't put the drain plug back in, and it lost all the oil. And then that's why I had to go to Ford, and Ford had to replace all that timing chain and all that timing belt and all that stuff. I believe that bill alone was like $1,600, and there was nothing covered on that under.
Why was
I believe that
Just a
bill
minute.
was
Just a minute. I don't see it here. In what you submitted. I don't see any $1,600 bill.
There was one for $1,600, one for $3,500. It had to do with the timing chain and timing belt. I don't have that number exactly in front of me, but that's what happened to the engine when it ran out of oil, because they didn't put the oil pan back on. They didn't screw the oil pan back on, and they tried to glue the engine back together because they couldn't get the bolt out of the thermostat, which they're not denying that they couldn't get that bolt out, and they literally glued my engine back together.
No, there's nothing in the on-piece file that I don't have. The problem is, as I said, you're not doing a very good job of presenting your case. You don't have any of the documents in front of you. You don't have anybody to testify to support your claim. I don't see any of the things that you're talking about.
I didn't know I could
I
have
went through
anybody
them.
here. My wife is here. I didn't know that she could be here. So he went
Yeah,
inside.
I mean, you could have, and I'm trying to use the documents you gave me to give you some leeway, but they don't say what you say they say.
Can I have
A lot of
can I
this stuff
can I
that
have a
was
1 minute
covered
recess?
by the service contract.
Can I have a 1 minute recess?
No, this is the time and date for the hearing. I gave you a recess. Missing bolts and gasket, it was all covered by the service contract. You're not out any money. Replace valve covered gaskets, covered by the service contract. Rocker arms, you're not out any money. Somebody else covered it. I'm gonna go with the figure that he acknowledges, and you're fortunate to get that. I find for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500.
And what
Thank
are
you.
the sorry to interrupt,
And
Your Honor.
$83.50 in cost and $76.16. So it's $1,656.66.
And that's due 30 days from today, right, sir?
21 days.
21 days. Perfect.
No, 30 days.
Okay.
You have 21
Thank you.
days to appeal. All right, Mr. Tyler, this is harder than it looks.
Yes, sir.
And lawyers don't just show up and throw some spaghetti at the wall and hope it will stick. There's more to it. So he acknowledges some, in fact, even more than perhaps he needed to. If he'd said nothing, probably nothing would have happened. But I find for you, he's got 30 days to pay it. And that solves and resolves this claim. All right, I think you were wise to get that aftermarket insurance for what that's worth. I mean, you got a lot of money into this truck, 65 grand or something. It must be a nice truck, but I can't see. You're not in it now, are you?
No, I had to sell it. It blew out.
No.
It ended up blowing up.
All right.
Can I confirm one more?
All right, that ends this session.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. All right, it is harder than it looks. Hope he got a lot of money out of it because he put a lot of money into it. But he didn't prove his claim very well. All right, that concludes our day. Tomorrow is arraignments, pre-exam conferences, and sobriety court.